Hi, so I'm bringing you the RTP discussion for law. This discussion, what I'll be doing is I'll be doing a quick revision of the RTP questions. If any of you have not seen the RTP yet, this will be a quick video. If you increase the speed and you watch it, you can cover the entire RTP fast. And I'll also mark the important questions which are likely to come in the exam. Yes. I'll go very quickly. I'll be giving the gist of the questions. See, I will not be discussing the entire question. I'll just tell you what is there in the question and tell you the answers, what you should write in the exam. That much is enough. Question one, the person, what it is saying is, Mr. Y is there, he wants to donate an elephant to a temple. So he contacted Mr. X, wanted to sell his elephant. So Mr. X, we went to contact with Mr. Y to sell his elephant without knowledge that he is unaware. This is the important part of the question. He is unaware that the elephant was dead before the agreement. So it is a void contract, and you have to say why it is void, because it is not enforceable in law. And you have to buy out these things in the answer. You just remember this, that as per section 2J, the contract ceases to be enforceable by law, becomes void because it is to be enforceable. And you can say contract shall be understood as an agreement if you want to write this. And then you can write this much and this conclusion. It is not enforceable by law because this contract is void. And you can just say in the incident case and explain the case that they were ignorant of the fact that the elephant was dead. There is impossibility of performance from the very start. That's all. That's question one. That is not that much very important question one. And then we'll go to question two. This is very important question. So in question two, what they are saying is a student is there. So what happened is a teacher induced a student. Whenever the word induced comes, you have to remember there will be fraud or undue influence or misrepresentation or there is one more. There no coercion. So these four things you have to write whenever there is inducing in there, whenever there is a word inducing is there, and it is always whatever at the option of the person whose consent was caused. So in this case, the teacher induced the student to sell his bike to give him more marks to pass the exam. So the father told the student, father of the student told him to file a complaint against the teacher. So can he do that? That is the question. So in this case, the teacher is in a position to dominate the will of the student. So we have to first write these things: fraud, misrepresentation, undue influence, coercion, and it is voidable at the option of the person whose consent was caused. Then that the teacher was in position to dominate the will of the student, and that the consent of the student is caused by undue influence. The contact between them is voidable at the option of the student. So basically, this is the provision. This is the provision. Correlation of the provision. And this is the answer. Finally, you can choose the teacher. Then coming to part 2 of the question 2, that was part 1. That is, this is also important. Give it 1 star and you study before the exams. Next, question 2. This is also very important. Vindictive or exemplary damages. Exemplary damages. So, what is, in which circumstances the vindictive or exemplary, vindicative, not vindictive, vindicative damages, exemplary damages are awarded for the breach of the contract. Remember this thing. What will tell you? This is like key, or it will help you remember like code. Whenever there is a marriage, and if a person breaks the marriage, the reputation is lost of the person whose marriage is broken. So remember this. So marriage, the feelings are hurt. So vindicative or exemplary damages. Second is reputation loss. Whenever the check is dishonored, these two circumstances you have to write. So, but you have to write as given here: breach of the promise to marry, cause injury to his feelings, wrongful dishonor of the check by the banker, customer's check. So is causes loss of credit and reputation to him. So as I was saying, um one for exemplary damages or vindicative damages, marriage. If someone breaks marriage, the person breaks of the marriage, no, the other party will lose the reputation. So, like this, I'm not trying to hurt any sentiments here. So, this is just a type of code to remember the answer. One is marriage, another thing is reputation, loss of credit or reputation, wrongful dishonor by the banker of his customer's check. One is marry, injury to his or her feelings. You have to write the way it is given here. You have to remember the keywords, please. Loss of credit, reputation to him, wrongful dishonor of the by the banker of the customer's check. You have to write list like this only. Then one more thing is this is like same. They just explain it a bit further that there is no pecuniary loss. Pecuniary loss. There is no pecuniary loss. There is no pecuniary loss. Pecuniary loss means loss of money. This is financial loss. There is no financial loss. Creditor suffered will get exemplary damages even if he has sustained no pecuniary loss. Pecuniary means financial damages. Question In this question, you have to remember the way they've written the answer. Some of the words they have used, no, those are keywords. In this question, what happened is one person, Karan, he agreed to purchase a wooden table from one of the person. Okay, and table was in good condition. He examined it and he purchased it. But later on, he found out that that one of the leg is broken, and it was pasted by the wood and tried to hide the defects. So in this case, can Karan return the table and claim the amount back? So discuss the same. And this, the way they have written, no, this is very important. You have to remember, you have to write like this. This is fraud, basically intentional. What is it? It hid the defects intentionally. So this is fraud, intentional concealment of the information. So as per section 17, false representation of the material facts which when made intentionally to deceive the other party to induce him to enter into a contract is termed as fraud. Why I'm reading the same sentence like that, not telling you just generally, because you have to write the way it is written like this. Then only the evaluator will give you marks because they will evaluate based upon the key answers, key solution which they will get to correct the papers. So you have to write the way it is given here. So as per section 17, what is fraud? Fraud is false representation of the facts, material facts, when made intentionally to deceive the other party to induce him to enter into a contract. This is termed as fraud. Next, right, it is active concealment. So when a party intentionally conceals or hides some of the material facts from the other party, which the other party is not able to know the truth, then the other party believes something which is false, then fraud is committed. You don't have to write an entire thing. You just can write these two sentences. False representation of material facts made intentionally to deceive the other party to induce him to enter into contract. Then you can write the aggrieved party gets the right to rescind the contract. This is what I was telling. Rescind. This word rescind, no. You have to use it like this only. Rescind the contract. You have to write the aggrieved party. You can't write the other party. You have to write the aggrieved party gets the right to rescind the contract. Rescind means cancel the contract. Next. So that's all. Just to conclude by saying that he purchased it, you could not find any defect in the table as it was concealed by Mr. X. So you can rescind the contract, cancel the contract, and claim the compensation for the loss suffered due to fraud. Next, that was important question. You have to solution is very important in that question. More than the question, solution is important. You have to remember. In this case, what happens is Mr. X promised to bring back Mr. Y to life again. As you know, this is not possible. It is impossible from the start only. So it is a void contract. You have to write like that. It is not enforceable in law. Next, in this case, in the case B, what happens is A agreed to sell 50 kgs of apple to B, but the loaded truck left due to riots. It could not reach, and it reached on 19th March. That is 4 days later. It reached. So by this time, the apple should have rotted. So it is time sensitive. So in this case, the contract is discharged. You have to write like that. Artist promised to paint the fig. This is an artist. In this case, what happens is artist promised to paint something for a fixed amount of remuneration, but he was met with an accident and lost his both limbs, both hands. So for an artist, His hands are very important as you know to draw anything. So this is of personal nature and it is impossible to perform now because it doesn't have hands. So this is a void contract. Next, coming to Abhishek, next fourth point. This Abhishek entered into contract for import of toys from China due to disturbance the relation between both countries. The point is, so imports from China were banned, so it is illegal. This when they entered into contract was legal, but later it became illegal. So the contract is discharged. You have to write like that. Next, coming to fifth question, it is based on minor. Minor is not competent to enter into contract, but it does not prevent him from making the other party bound to the minor. This solution I will show you from the suggested answer because it is very important solution. Minor related questions are very important. And I'll read from here and I'll explain very fast. So minor can be a beneficiary or can take the benefit out of the contract, but he is not competent to enter into contract. But suppose other party executes the promissory note in favor of the minor. In such a case, minor he can claim the promissory note. He can use the promissory note to get the benefit. See, that's what they have written. Minor is not competent to contract, but it does not prevent him from making the other party bound to a minor. Same thing they have mentioned in the question. Promissory note duly executed in favor of the minor is not void and can be sued upon by him. Even though he is incompetent to contract, he may yet accept the benefit. So minor cannot become the partner in the partnership firm. He may, with the consent of all the partners, of all the partners, of all the partners, I'm stressing, be admitted to the benefits of the partnership. Be admitted to the benefits of the partnership. Only for the benefits of the partnership he may admit it. But he is not competent to become the partner in the partnership firm. He may, with the consent of all the partners, he may be admitted to the benefits of the partnership, as you would have studied in Partnership Act 1932. Now coming to question number 6. Important question. In what happens is here a person is there, he goes and buys a bun from the shop. What happens is while he is eating the bun, he found he found a stone in one of the buns. So what are the rights available to the buyer, to the person who bought the bun? So in this case, the person can claim the damages since it is not wholesome. See, it is not merchantable quality. The bun which seller has sold, no, it is also is not of merchantable quality, so he can claim compensation. Next, coming in this case, EA enters into contract to buy 50 chairs from for certain quality. But what happens is the person B delivers 25 chairs of the agreed type quality, but another 25 chairs of some other quality. In this case, what are the rights available for A against B as per the Sale of Goods Act? So, in this case, what he can do is he can reject the entire 50 chairs since 25 chairs are of some other quality, or he can accept 25 chairs of one quality and he can reject the 25 chairs of some other quality since it is not of the same quality which they had agreed upon as per the contract. Like that you have to write. Just read the solution once. It's a simple solution, but it is important question. Coming to question number 7. So in question number 7, what is given is, see, here a person is there. Person means Ankit, a student is there. So he wants a black pen for his exams. So he went to a nearby stationery shop. He goes to a stationery shop and he tells the seller he wants a black pen. But the seller gives him a packet of the pens. But Ankit sees that it is a packet of blue pens, it was clearly mentioned. But he ignores it and he takes the pens. And later on, he sees that it was blue pen, so he wants to return it now. So, can he return the goods which he has taken now? As per the Sale of Goods Act 1930, emptor is applicable. Rule of caveat emptor is applicable in this case. So, this is very important case study. Important question, you have to see this before exam. This is important case study. So what does question number 7 say? Solution. So in this case, as per section 16(2) of the SOG Act, the goods are bought by description from the seller, which deals in the goods of the description. There is an implied condition that the goods shall correspond with that quality, and where the buyer could find the defect of the goods under the examination, this rule shall not apply. The rule of caveat emptor is not applicable. So you are right in the incident case, the case study you explain in this. And thus conclusion that KVA tempter is applicable here and we cannot return the pen. So basically I'll tell the answer solution in an easy way for you to write. So in this case what you have to write is the goods which are sold by the seller. No, it is goods with the description. So basically selling the goods with the description. So there is implied condition that the goods shall correspond with the quality. So if that is applicable, then the rule of caveat emptor is not applicable in this case. But where the buyer could find the defect of the goods in the ordinary examination, in such a case caveat emptor rule is applicable. So in the given case, it is clearly a sale by description, but the Ankit can find the defect using the ordinary due diligence. Ordinary diligence, you can find the yes, the instructions of the blue ink pen was clearly mentioned on the packet of the pen. So the rule of QA temper is applicable. So we cannot return the pen. Understood? So in this question, if it comes in exams, what you should write is one is section 16 if you can remember. Then the goods are bought by the description from the seller who deals in the goods of the description. So it means that implied condition is there that the good will correspond with that quality. That is one part. In which case the rule of KV tempter is not applicable. But where the buyer could find the goods, find the defect in the goods by ordinary examination, in such a case the rule of KV tempter is applicable. So in this case, the sale by description. That means that the goods shall correspond with that quality. If only that much was there, then the rule of creativity is not applicable. But in this case, you can find the defect using his ordinary diligence as the instructions of the blue ink pen was clearly mentioned in the pen of the back of the pen. So the rule of K-tempter is applicable here, so you cannot return the pen. I'm spending little bit of time in this question because this is a very important question. It might come in exams. So read it properly and then go to exam. So coming to question number 8. Question number 8. Yeah, what does this say? Yeah, this is also very very important question. Don't forget to study this before exams. So in this case study, what happens is there is a person named Lokanch who who purchases a television set from Jetalal, one of the owner of the Gada Electronics. So what is this is he purchased the television set on a condition that first 3 days he will check it quality, then if it is satisfied he will pay the price for that and otherwise he will return the television set. But on the second day what happens is the television set was spoiled due to earthquake. JTLL demands the price of the television set. Whether Akash is liable to pay the price of the Soga who will ultimately bear the loss. So the solution is ultimately the seller will bear the loss. Why? Why is we have to see the solution because the solution is very important in this question. So I'll read from the solution. I'll explain you faster. So the answer is this is based on section 24 of the SOGA Act, where the goods are delivered to the buyer or approval or sale or return or other similar terms. So in this case, the property passes to the buyer only in these cases. Okay, in those cases, the property will pass on to the buyer. If these three cases exist, then the buyer will be responsible. If these three cases is not existing, the seller will be responsible. So in this case, where if the buyer signifies his approval or acceptance to the seller, signifies his approval or acceptance, when he does any other act adopting the transaction, and if he does not signify his acceptance or approval to seller, but retains the goods beyond reasonable time. If these three things exist, then the buyer will be responsible. If these things are not there, then seller will be responsible. Understood? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah. Now section 8. Where there is an agreement to sell specific goods, subsequently the goods without any fault on the part of seller or buyer perish or become so damaged as no longer to answer the risk to the description in the agreement before the risk was to a buyer, the agreement is thereby avoided. So what they are trying to tell here is the agreement to sell specific goods is there. So the goods gets destroyed without any fault of the buyer. In such a case, the person who will be responsible will be seller. That's what they're trying to tell, and the agreement is thereby avoided. You need not write this, you just write this much, and you just say that agreement to sell specific goods is there, and it got destroyed without any fault of the seller, so without any fault of the buyer, so the agreement is thereby avoided before the risk passes to the buyer. Only this much you write, it's enough. And you can just write the conclusion part. What is the conclusion? Conclusion is the property has not passed to the accounts, the buyer as no condition of section 24 is satisfied, hence the risk is not passed on to the buyer and the agreement is thereby avoided. You have to write this line, agreement is thereby avoided. Why? The risk is not passed on to the buyer because the goods is destroyed by some other means before the property has passed on to the buyer. So in such a case, the loss will be borne by the seller et al. This is very important question. I'm telling you again and again. You have to read this once and go, otherwise you won't be able to answer the next. Coming to question number 9. So what does it say? This question is based on the unpaid seller. Unpaid seller questions are very important. You should study it properly. Again, I am telling you, minor question is important. Minor related questions, unpaid seller. Unpaid seller of the goods. In this case, they asked the entire thing here in this question for unpaid seller. Who is unpaid seller? A seller who has sold his goods but who has not received the payment is unpaid seller. I hope you know this from the. I hope you have studied this. If you have not, then see this and understand. I'll explain a little bit of unpaid seller. From this question, you can understand it. When can an unpaid seller of the goods is, so what is the question saying? When can an unpaid seller of the goods exercise the right of lien over the goods? And can he exercise the right of lien even if the property is passed on to the buyer? When such right is terminated, can he exercise his right even after he has obtained a decree for the price of the goods from the court? Now coming to solution, I'll directly read from there and I'll explain to you. Because you have to write the solution as per ICI, not what I am saying. So coming to solutions. Okay. So what they asked, unpaid seller, an unpaid seller. And when can he exercise the right of lien? First of all, what is lien? Lien is the right to retain the possession of the goods until the payment of the price is received. So it is available to the unpaid seller of the goods who is in possession of them, who is in possession of the goods. And the goods have been sold without any stipulation as to credit, where the goods have been sold on credit but the term of the credit has expired. The buyer has become insolvent in these three cases. In such a cases, he exercises the right to retain the goods until the payment of the price is received. When the goods have been sold without any stipulation on credit, have been sold on credit but the term of credit has expired and buyer has become insolvent. Then, coming to next part, the unpaid seller can exercise the right of lien even if the property of the goods is passed on to the buyer. Even in the case where the goods have been passed on to the buyer, the seller can exercise his right of lien. He can exercise the right even if his possession of the goods, even if he is in possession of the goods as an agent or bailiff for the buyer. Even if he retains the goods as an agent or bailey, he can exercise his right of lien. So termination of lien. When the lien of the unpaid seller is terminated. When when this is important. This is important. When he delivers the goods to a carrier or the other bailey for the purpose of transmission to the buyer without reserving the right of the disposal. What they are saying is when he delivers it to another carrier, that is the person who is transporting the goods to buyer, if he gives it to them, then he cannot exercise his lien. Then where the buyer or his agent lawfully obtains the possession of the goods, where the buyer or his agent lawfully obtains the possession of the goods, buyer or his agent obtains lawfully obtains the possession of the goods. Yes, he can exercise the right of lien even after he obtains the decree for the price of the goods from the court. What they're saying is, suppose he has obtained a decree from the court for the price of the goods which he has said. Even in such a case, the goods, if he has retained, no, he can exercise right of lien over that. That's what they're trying to tell. Now I'll make another part 2 for the Partnership Act and part 3 for Companies Act. You can check it out. And thank you. Good luck.